Brought to you by DIS, keeping companies connected with cloud-based solutions. Come on, City.
Stuart, good to speak with you again. Can I start by asking for an update on Rhys Staunton's injury?
You certainly can, yeah, and very positive news, which is great news, to be honest. Obviously, last Saturday we were fearing the worst, with Rhys saying he'd heard a crack, etc., and limping off. Got him scanned on Monday, results back Tuesday, which was no crack, a little bit of flare up of the joint, but should settle down quickly, and it certainly has. So he's done a bit of training today, which has been promising. We'll see how he reacts tomorrow and make a decision on him for the weekend, but far more encouraging news than we expected. So yeah, that's a positive.
So as good as that he could actually potentially be available for this weekend? Yeah,
I think he could. I'm not saying he will, because obviously we have to see. He hasn't done a great deal today, but what he's done is he was felt comfortable. Now he might have a reaction overnight, but we don't think so. So there's a possibility, yeah.
Oh, that's positive news. Do you have anything else to report on that front, squad-wise?
No, obviously, the two O'Connors are out, suspended, but we do get Levi Sutton back involved with us now. He's been, desperate to be playing. He's now free of suspension. Ben Richards Everton is trained all week. He's over his bout of illness. So it's really 2 out, 2 in. Pordy and Anthony out, Ben and Levi in. And hopefully Rhys will be okay. Sorry, Stuart. I didn't quite catch the end of your answer there. What did you say? Sorry. And hopefully leave Rhys okay as well. So it's like 2 out, 2 in.
Yeah. How do you go about setting up defensively with the fact that both Pordy and Anthony are out and then Rhys is a maybe?
Yeah, we've had a look at a couple of things during the week. There's a few options. Obviously, Levi can play at right back. Tyler French is a centre half. Is his normal position, which he came to the club as, and obviously the two young lads, Cousin Dawson and George Sikora, are both centre halves as well. So we've got options, and Lee Novak, obviously.
Sorry, the connections. I think it's doing me a bit there.
Sorry, Jamie, that was me. I was just throwing a late when I was saying, and obviously you can't discount Lee Novak.
Of course. Well, that was going to be my next question. Admirable performance.
But that was tongue in cheek.
I know. That was too. In a serious note, though, having Levi Sutton back available for you, how big a boost is that?
It is, yeah. No, I think he showed in the one game he managed to have at Doncaster his enthusiasm, and he gets around the pitch, well, infectious nature. And he's certainly been training well while he's been, not been able to be selected. So yeah, it's good to have him back, and he's been working hard, and it's hard when you work all week knowing that you've not got a game at the Saturday to look forward to. But he's been in on the Saturday mornings and training, and he's, as I said, he's a good type. He's got a great attitude to the game, and he just wants to do well for the club. So I've no worries wherever I play him. I've had him at right wing back, right back, centre mid, holding mid, attacking mid. So I know what I'm going to get from Levi.
Yeah. So just on that point of recruitment, Stuart, what's the latest?
Yeah, frustrating early part of the week. We were hoping to get some definites from a couple of clubs, but as they told us last week, they were going to make their minds up this week. Then they put it back a few more days. So really frustrating. From Sunday onwards, really, we were hoping to get a couple of bodies in. But as I said before, we can't really push clubs above us. All we can do is move on if that's the case. But we're just, it'd been more promising from, say, Wednesday. Had a bit more feedback on Wednesday, and we're hopeful of bringing somebody in tomorrow that should hopefully be available for Saturday's game, and waiting this afternoon for another couple of people to come back to us with a yes or a no, basically.
Just on those disappointments or ones that have been delayed or pushed back a week, presumably then, just from what you're saying there, is you're approaching clubs above League Two. Are you going to the Championship, Premier League, and is this in respect to the loan market or permanent signings?
Yeah, no, the loan market. from clubs that we've been in contact with all summer, really, since we've been back, with players that we've targeted, that we've been told will be allowed out on loan, whatever level, and then we've, some clubs bring players in and let players out, other clubs don't get them players out as quick as they can. Some clubs want other players to leave their football club and not the ones we're after, but if the other clubs can't get away or get out the other players, then they have to release them. So it's a wait and see, but you can only wait so long, we know that. Yeah. But if you want to try to get the targets you would like, I would, in an ideal world, we'd have them in the building now, but if we can't do that, I would rather wait a little bit longer and get the ones that we would like, than just bringing bodies in for the sake of it. It's frustrating for myself, it's frustrating, I understand, for the supporters, for everyone, but that's how it is at the minute. We're getting told the decision's going to be made, it keeps getting put back off, so you can imagine the frustration from my point of view and the staff's point of view. But listen, we'll deal with whatever we've got, and as I said, hopefully we can have somebody in for tomorrow and be available for Saturday, and hopeful in the next couple of days, but nothing concrete as yet.
Yeah, just on this hopeful player for tomorrow, do they fit within the loan market, or is this a hopeful permanent signing, and how much can you tell us about where this player is positioned on the field?
He'll definitely be on a park somewhere, but I cannot give you his position, because he actually plays a few positions, to be honest. But no, you'll listen. You'll know as soon as we know. As soon as it's all done, you'll know. So I don't like talking about things that aren't done on the horizon, and then somebody else might pop up, and it looks as I've been telling lies about different positions. So, but no, we're confident, hopeful of getting one done, and then hopefully some word that hopefully I use it a lot, but hopefully getting other things tied up in as the next week progresses.
I appreciate the update on that, Stuart. Just in respect to Tuesday's news, I wanted to ask you about that. The shelving of plans to have fans back in the ground by early next month. What was your thoughts and reaction to that now the dust is somewhat settled?
Yeah, it's a reaction from different people, isn't it, as well? From the owners, for the finances of the club, which my immediate thoughts don't go to. My immediate thoughts for the supporters and for the players and for us, because we all, as players and staff, we want to be running out in front of supporters. It was even, obviously they're all Forest Green supporters last week. It was nice just to have looking out. I think that's the thing I miss most of going to our home games down Valley Parade is driving to the stadium, people selling the scarves, and people queuing up at 1 o'clock to get parking near the stadium, and all that the buzz of the game, the atmosphere that you're building up to kick off, seeing people coming out the pubs, and looking forward to Saturday's entertainment. So that part, from my point of view, is, we're disappointed for the fans. But then again, a bigger thought is obviously for the finances of football clubs. And since Tuesday, you've seen a lot of chairmen and owners coming out saying there'll be a lot of clubs that will go to the wall unless the government can come up with an arrangement where we can get some sort of numbers of fans getting back into the grounds. But obviously the spike's starting to rise again, with the obviously COVID-19. So we're all mindful, certainly as a squad and as a staff, of following the rules, which we all got to do naturally. But it was a blow. But I don't necessarily think, or hopefully it's not, everyone thinks it's going to be 6 months. I don't think that's the case. I think the case is, it's not going to be the October 1st or October 6th or 10th, start that we were all hoping for. But likewise, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be 6 months. So we're hopeful that, somebody's just cleaned me boots. Cheers, Finn. We're hopeful that it's not going to be a long term. We understand the short term, but as I said, Saturday seemed to go really, really well down at Forest Green. Other than us getting changed in a part of the stand which was piping the music through at half time, but other than that, it's just good to see supporters in the ground.
Yeah. How distracting is that from a playing group's perspective, and as the manager of that group, how much do you have to try and manage their emotions around it all?
What about not getting players back in, fans?
Yeah.
Well, listen, they've got used to it now, so hopefully another month won't harm. But we're all looking forward to, to getting our own supporters back, and a little bit of noise, a little bit of reaction, just to get behind the lads. There were stages in the game at Forest Green where, even though there was only 1,000 in, at least there was an atmosphere. They had maybe a corner or our sendings off. There was a bit of vibrancy in the stadium. So, to have it for one game and then not. But listen, it's just where we are as a country at this moment in time, and how what the things we have to face, we have to do. But hopefully we can get back on track again soon.
You mentioned the financial side of things, but this obviously implicates as well. And you mentioned the government. I wanted to ask you about what you felt the financial resolve was for this situation. Should responsibility lie with the government? Should the Premier League step up some more? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, listen, I know obviously the iFollow has been a little bit of a help to some clubs, but it's nothing like. Having said that, what we sold over 9,000 season tickets, which is fantastic gesture from the supporters, to be buying season tickets. Hopeful football was going to come back, but not being a definite to get back into the ground, and all the hard work that's gone on behind the scenes, especially our place with the claret and the amber season tickets and things like that. But yeah, I think there will be meetings, certainly if they've not already been taken, which I know the EFL have had discussions. I've had a couple of emails from people there, outlining what might happen, but nothing concrete. But yeah, we'll be hopeful there'll be some sort of help, because if there isn't, by the sounds of it at other clubs and listening to other chairmen, then there's a lot of football clubs are going to struggle to keep paying the wages and survive, basically, because it was all right when we weren't playing and we were getting people being furloughed, but now we're obviously out of furlough. Still no money coming into the club on match days anyway. So yeah, I don't know the answer, but I know there's a lot of discussions going on.
Just on that point, finally, how then concerned are you about the future of football clubs more generally, and also the sustainability of Bradford City? Speaking to Ryan yesterday, he said in the hypothetical sense, if this continues as it does for the majority of the season, for the whole of the season, that it will be a real challenge for Bradford City to survive. So how concerned are you as the manager of a football club?
Naturally, concerning, I saw Ryan's words yesterday, but I think we're okay at the moment. We've kept well within the remit of the spend that we've got to spend. But and again, it's the National League, the one below us. We're hoping to get back. Can only get back if they get fans in the ground. Let's put them back again. So it's challenging. There's no doubt about that. But I'll focus fully on the football at the moment while it's still going on, and long may that continue. And trying to shape a squad and put the best team out on the park that we can. But hopefully, on the other side of it, the business side of it, we're in an okay position, I believe. But sooner we can get more, or get some supporters back into the ground, the better.
Well, let's focus on the football side of things. Stevenage next for you. What have you made of their start to the season?
Yeah, they've had a good start. 4 points out of 6. They got a good point up at Barrow. Opening day of the season, drew 3 each with Portsmouth in the EFL game, and then on the back of Tuesday night beating Southampton 21-2-1 with the last minute goal. So I think they've been a good place. Listen to the manager, I've got a lot of respect for. Speaks well, has done a good job since he's been in there. So yeah, we again, there's no. We always prepare meticulously for every game. Just on them, they've had a good start to the season. Yeah, but we've worked hard all week, and we're positive in what we want to do, and we've got to go out and make sure we put that game plan into action.
I know it's early doors, but just how important is it to get that first win of the league campaign?
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, you want to get it as first game, if not your first, your second. Now we've had 2 draws, so yeah, we'll be striving for a 3-pointer, obviously, but there's no givens naturally, and they'll come in. They'll certainly be coming in a lot more confident manner than the last time we played them out here not long ago. In our first game when we managed to beat them 3-1. They're a different squad now, different manager, and but again, focus on ourselves. Let us go out. I've been okay with some parts of the performance. Obviously, I mean, you'll have to look at last week's. I mean, that was more endeavour and togetherness. You see somebody like Curtis Guthrie, 11.5 kilometres in the game. You normally only get that for your midfielders, or if you've got a really up and down full back. So the effort from everybody, the stats were really high, the work rate was that. But we've got to start trying to create more opportunities and trying to dominate more games if we can, possession-wise. We've got the players to do that. But we, as I said, going away at Bolton, Colchester, Forest Green, both Colchester and Forest Green, speaking to the management, fancy themselves to be up there in the top 8. So, there've been 2 difficult games. We've come through them, obviously, unbeaten, but we want to start certainly creating more opportunities and winning football games.
Final question from me, Stuart. I appreciate your time. I just wanted to ask you one point about something that's been discussed in football quite widely at the moment, taking the knee before kick-off. Have you spoken about that as a group? Is it something that you'll look to continue to do at games?
I'll leave it up to the players. I think it was striking the other day. We on Friday night watched the game down at Forest Green on the hotel television, the QPR game where nobody took the knee on the Friday night. We went to the game on Saturday. The referee asks the captains or whoever's putting the team sheets in, which is for us it's Kenny, my assistant. I don't know if it was Forest Green assistant or manager. They said they've not done it all season and weren't particularly bothered about doing it. So the referee, we just didn't have the knee. But I think on Tuesday, when Les Ferdinand at QPR came out and said, and I get where he's coming from, because I've seen lots of games when the whistle's gone and they've gone down to take a knee, and I remember at Newcastle, I think 6 of the players had run into the other half. So it did look a little bit like a token gesture at times. But if any of our players are adamant and they believe that they want to do it, then that's fine. But I get Leslie's point, a bit like the clap for carers, when it seemed to be diluted and then they decided to stop after a while. But again, it's one that I think the players among themselves have had initial talks. I don't know what the outcome's been yet, but we will find out tomorrow, and then we'll take it from there. But it is difficult when some people are doing it, some games are doing it, some aren't, and again, it's a tough one. If you get 3 or 4 of your lads, for example, I'm not saying it's happened here, but who are really strong and want to do it, which was a case at the first game against Bolton, when Bolton had 3 or 4 lads that wanted to do it, so they want to do it. So you go ahead with it. I mean, it looked pretty. It probably caused more ripples if one team does it and one team doesn't naturally. Likewise, if half your team do it and half your team don't, I don't think that'll ever be the case. But I think I thought Les Ferdinand's points were spot on, really.
Cheers for that, Stuart, and good luck for Saturday.
Cheers, thank you.
When you look back at last Saturday, ignoring for a moment the last minute equaliser, how pleased were you with how well the team defended and managed to stay together as a team for that time when you were down to 9 men?
Yeah, certainly. I think when you take everything into consideration, first and foremost, Forest Green had a good side at home, so it was always going to be a difficult game. Overall, until the 2 sendings off, I was okay with the performance. I always like to create more and do better with the ball. Certainly defensively, we looked strong and sound and assured. I saw Forest Green the week before against Bolton create a lot of opportunities, but I think we snuffed them out where we went about the game. But likewise, I'd like to do more in the attacking third. And then when we went down to 9 men, to have Lee Novak, centre forward to go play at the back alongside young Reece Staunton. And then it was just wave after wave of attack. We had to give up the wide areas for crosses to come in, but the desire to get the head on the ball, the blocks of the shots, keep them distant from long range shooting, was a terrific effort. And when you see the goal again in the 97th minute, it's just through fatigue and tiredness from Reece, who put his head on and kicked, ball after ball that coming into our box. He missed kicks one. And then we're actually defending with 8 because Reece goes down in a heap with his ankle, and the cross comes in and they've got 5 mile men in the box and us, and it's a good finish from the lad, but probably where Reece would have been. So as much as we were really despondent and it was a really disappointing dressing room after the game, we had to remind them what a great effort they'd put in. And once the penalty's given and they can go 2-1 up, it could have been a long way back. So different ways to look at it. As I said after the game, mixed emotions, but the effort, the togetherness, the team spirit was all there. From a footballing point of view, we want to then now build on the point we got away from home and go and put a real positive home performance on.
And given how much effort they had to put in, particularly in the second half at Forest Green, how crucial has it been to have not had a midweek match this week and managed to get a whole week with the players? Yeah,
definitely. So a lot of Monday was just really a light session for a lot of the lads. As I said, some of the distances covered last Saturday was terrific. The desire for each other to work hard for each other against all odds was really there to be seen by everyone. But yeah, it was good that we didn't have a game. Naturally, we had a couple of knocks from last Saturday as well, which they've cleared up. It's give Reece more time to hopefully be available. So all in all, it was a good scenario that we didn't have a game, definitely.
Brought to you by DIS, keeping companies connected with cloud-based solutions. Come on, City!